I'll speak up.
Okay, great.
First, I want to say a little bit of feedback. A couple weeks ago, when I shared a stressful situation, it was quite an experience for me because it felt like I was really vulnerable, and I was exposing all the stuff that I try so hard to keep hidden from others. So it was it took me a week before I could listen to the audio, because I was just so blown away. But so that's why I'm stepping up right now too. So I
Well,
want more
thank
practice
you for your
being
thank you
vulnerable.
for your courage and for stepping up a few weeks ago. It was very
Oh
inspiring, your
yeah,
work. So thank you.
yeah. It was quite a turnaround. I wrote about it in my spoken word work, if you want to read a little more about it. But the question
Great.
I had is on doing the work. I'm taking the the work for busy people, in case introduce kind of my
Yeah.
background. And I am on doing the homework number 4 on line 5. And I notice the thing that's I notice when I'm doing line 5 and opposed to doing line 4, et cetera, that I have a lot of similarities. My body feels the same way. My emotions feels very, the same way. And it almost feels like it's the same, like I'm repeating myself, and I'm not sure what maybe there's something different I need to look at, as opposed to last time it was I need her to know that she is like everyone else and nothing special. And my line 5 is she is um, uh, and I'm not sure on this because I have a word of Miss Princess. And so I'm not sure if it needs to be obnoxious or pompous or self-important, or how the Miss Princess sits in. But anyway, that's my question.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great question. This comes up a lot. If you've done the work, if you've done the work at all, this probably has come up for you, especially if you're using the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. So what happens when you write a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet is you list a bunch of different stressful thoughts. There's 6 lines on the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, and each one kind of flushes out another set of stressful thoughts related to the same exact trigger situation, the same exact moment. So you're looking at this one pinpoint moment in time, and you're noticing these thoughts were already here, but you're noticing so many different stressful thoughts related to that one moment. And so you've really created a list of stressful thoughts that are in some ways very similar. And so when you go into doing the work, you may start feeling like, oh, this is sounding really familiar. I'm answering the questions, how do I react? And and what I was it's reminding me of how I answered that question when I was questioning another piece of this. So, like, as I go through the worksheet and I'm questioning one statement after the other, I may start to see a repetition come up. And that can throw you off. You'll be like, hey, I'm wasting my time. Why should I keep doing this? It's so similar to what I already saw. But what I find in doing the work of Byron Katie is that it is a meditative practice. It's a meditation. And so when I sit to meditate, when I'm not doing the work, I do other meditation, it's the same practice. Like each time, it's exactly the same practice. And so I would say, hey, I've already done this before. But the difference is every time you sit to meditate, the experience is different. It's like you walk through these same steps, but what you find, it may be similar, it may be different. And what I like to do is just keep that openness of, I don't know what I'll find. And so that's the approach that I like to take with the work of Byron Katie, is that there may be some similarity. I may have been down this road before, but have I noticed everything? It's like a good detective, like if you watch a TV series on some detective, or read a book, they're like going over the same data and then same evidence, right? And then it finally dawns on them, oh, that's what that means. That connects to
Ah.
this. And like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, so it's the same. It's kind of boring from an outsider's point of view, but that's where the discovery can sometimes happen. Now, another point on questions 3 and 4 of the work, which is how do you react? What happens when you believe the thought? And who would you be without the thought? Like,
Mm.
again, it's experiential, but I'm really just looking at what's the difference in my feeling, in my reaction, in how I live when I'm under the influence of that thought. And when I see that, and then I see that without the thought, it's not as stressful, I'm way more open to go into the turnarounds and start looking and exploring those. So it's kind of a preparation for getting into those turnarounds. So even though I may have done the work last week on that very similar statement, if I'm doing the work today on this statement, I will walk myself through that experience. Like, oh, how do I react? Oh, I feel that anger. Even though I'm not really angry now, but I can remember, oh yeah, I reacted like that. I treated them this way. I feel, I treated myself this way. Those reactions, I just go through those. I touch basis on those. And then I go into the question 4, who would I be without that thought? And I walk myself through that experience. And that way, on the experiential level, I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to see like, oh, this thought is causing a big difference in my experience in this situation. So maybe I'll be willing to try turning it around. So that's
Mm.
the overall approach, is like, yes, this is repetitious. Yes, there is similarity, but if you're able to give yourself that, be patient enough to give yourself that experience so that you can kind of walk the stuck part of you through the rest of it. And in the end, you may come to a point where you're like, you know what, I've had enough of this worksheet. I'm just like, it's fine, I get the whole big picture and I really don't want to go through the meditative process on that anymore. Fine. Okay, that's the end of that worksheet. You can just say done at any point. Obviously you're in my class, so it's a little bit slower and it's a little bit formal, but if you wanted to and say, I'm absolutely done with this worksheet, I've got another worksheet, I'm going to jump in and just trade out and keep
Mm.
doing the assignments on that worksheet, you can do that. But there is benefit in kind of going through the
Yeah.
the slow version, at least during the Work 101, so that you get
Mm-hmm.
the experience of how much richness actually is there, even though you've walked that road 100 times before.
Mm.
So anyway, I don't know if I addressed everything there, but those are my thoughts based on what you were just asking.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.